Magandang araw po muli mga ka-podcals o mga ka-political calisthenics. At kagaya po ng dati, sana po kayo ay nasa mabuting kalagayan kasama po ng inyong mga pamilya. Saan mang sulok kayo ng daigdig naroroon. Uh, well, yesterday we observed and many people have already witnessed uh, the meeting between uh, President Trump of US and JD Vance. No, President Trump of US and Ukraine President Zelensky. This is about the proposed uh, proposed agreement regarding how the American government will support Ukraine in light of the war against Russia. So, unlike before these things happened, there were a lot of supports given by the United States of America under Joe Biden. In fact, America already uh, have given already like 350 billion dollars for Ukraine plus the war equipments. But since the president now is Donald Trump, everything almost everything has changed. And Donald Trump is a businessman, and probably he wanted to change things in favor of America, because according to Donald Trump, uh, U.S. was giving a lot of money to other countries, including Philippines, right? Uh, U.S. has been giving a lot of money to support those countries in trouble and also those countries in war. And one of them is Ukraine. And since Donald Trump was a businessman, as I've said, he wanted to recoup the what they call that the expenses by the American government in supporting these countries. So he said that since America has been giving $350 billion to Ukraine, it is high time that America should recoup something from helping other countries, and particularly Ukraine. And his proposal was to exploit some of the earth mineral of Ukraine, because Ukraine has a lot of minerals, including the lithium, which is very important when you use for defense. So, because of that, U.S. and the both presidents, Trump and Zelensky, have made a schedule to meet at White House, and that was happened yesterday. So when Zelensky came to uh, U.S., particularly in the White House, purposely to make a deal with the United States of America, it was expected that he was going to sign the deal. But these things, as expected, did not really happen. So, what were the reasons why Zelensky have to come to America and talk to President Trump? Of course, to make sure that uh, the relationship between U.S. and uh, Ukraine will continue to flourish, and not only that, with the so-called proposal of Donald J. Trump, the new president of U.S., that in order for the U.S. to continue supporting the so-called war in Ukraine through giving like aids, not necessarily supporting for the wars, but to giving aids, like to give money. But U.S. said that okay, we will give you money, but we also have to earn something, because we are not getting anything by giving you a lot of money for many years already, $350 billion, and not only that, war equipments, and U.S. was not getting anything. Now the U.S. also proposed that instead of fighting with Russia, Zelensky have to make an agreement, a peace agreement with Russia. But the problem is that Zelensky said that how can I have an agreement with Russia if Russia keeps killing our people? And not only that, once we make an agreement, what will happen is that some of the portions of the Ukraine territory had been occupied already by Russia, and if they will make an agreement, those portions of the Ukraine's territory will be occupied by Russia permanently. That's the reason why Zelensky doesn't want to make an agreement with Russia. But Zelensky wants to continue to fight, and in fighting Russia, he needs the support of the United States of America. Now, he almost agreed with a deal, but the problem is when they were already in the White House, Zelensky was asking for more. And he was asking for something that is very important in the war. He wanted, because the agreement was there will be 500 billion deal to exploit the minerals. The earth minerals will be, or whatever they earn from that, will be divided into two, like 50% for Ukraine, 50% for United States until it reaches the 500 billion US dollars recoupment from the expenses given by US to Ukraine. But the problem is that there was no guarantee of protecting Ukraine from Russian aggression. That's what Zelensky was asking for. And in the negotiation, I think it was triggered by the statement of uh, Vice President J.D. Vance that insisting that instead of asking for something from the United States of America, Zelensky better go forward to a diplomatic solution. Which Zelensky said that's impossible, and because of that exchanges, the all of them, everything, uh, all hell broke loose because the three of them would like to say something, and it becomes noisy, and there was the what do you call that meeting becomes an agreement, oh no, becomes a disagreement, becomes an argument. So because of that, I think nothing has reaches, and nothing has been accomplished. uh, but the point here is that I see a lot of Filipinos, based on their comments, that do not trust America, do not trust US. Okay? When something happened to Philippines, US will not help us. And because of that, I would like to say that if you look at that kind of situation, always remember that the situation in Ukraine is different from the situation in the Philippines. First and foremost, Ukraine is very important with the European countries. The European Union, which is composed of 27 countries, did not even help Ukraine. They only gave Ukraine a total of 145 billion US dollars to aid it. But the problem is, uh, they're supposed to be the ones who support Ukraine financially, and even the armament they need to provide Ukraine, because once Ukraine was successfully invaded by Russia, what will happen? Russia will start to do the creeping invasion with all other uh, Russian countries, that suppose, because those countries, those small countries, were all actually part of USSR before, the Union Soviet Socialist Republic, and because the USSR was broken and become dismembered, so many of those countries, including Ukraine, uh, lost in the control of Russia. Now, because of that, Russia want to get back all of those countries one by one. And when they got Ukraine and successfully invaded Ukraine, what will happen? Ukraine, what will happen? They're going to make a probably successful invasion with other small countries because they already did it to Crimea. And then after Crimea, now they are looking for Ukraine. And now I think after that, they'll be looking for other Kremlin countries in Russia. And then until it becomes the most powerful again, uh, and can fight US with the alliance with Russia and North Korea. But the problem now is, or but the issue now is, should the Philippines be worrying about their relationship with US in the light of what happened what happened in the meeting between two presidents, Trump and Zelensky? Because it looks like Donald Trump do not want anymore to spend a lot of money to help other countries because uh, he said that we are not getting anything for helping those countries, and those countries should also defend themselves. US is willing to give them an aid or a help, but they should also help themselves. Now, should the Philippines be worried about that? As I've said, the reason why Philippines was in this kind of situation is not because of US. It is because of the Filipino people. You should remember that the military basis agreement originally uh, was for 99 years. Remember that when Marcos was elected in 1965, the old Marcos, the Ferdinand Marcos Sr., when he was elected in 1965, in 1966, he reduced the agreement from 99 years to 25 years. That's why the 25 years ended up in 1991. In 1991, when President Cory Aquino uh, had the first Senate, those senators voted to abrogate the U.S. military bases. And what happened? I still remember they called it Magnificent 12. Those Magnificent 12 abrogated the U.S. military bases in 1991. Supposedly, we still have under the treaty with US military bases, but because Marcos reduced it to 25 years, in 1991, the 25th year of the agreement uh, needs to be renewed. And in 1991, they did not renew it because 12 senators uh, decided to abrogate the U.S. military bases. And that will start the Chinese creeping invasion in the Philippines. Because I still remember the Fisher Folk said that during those times when U.S. was still in uh, in the Philippines, Chinese government cannot even interfere with the Scarborough Show. But now, after U.S. was gone, after the basis was gone, then the Chinese invasion, creeping invasion, started to operate. Now, uh, who were those senators who voted to abrogate the U.S. military bases? I still remember those names, but I have to mention their names. Like for example, no, these senators are the ones who voted to not to renew the U.S. military bases. And after that abrogation, what happened? China started to become very strong in that area. Those are Butchakino. Most of them are deceased already, and but some of them are still alive. Butchakino, Gingona, Senator Gingona, Senator Terry Laurel, Senator Maceda, Senator Mercado, Senator Pimentel, Senator Sagisag, Senator Salonga, Senator Tanyada, Senator Ziga. And remember this, those who signed for the abrogation of military bases, including Juan Ponce Enrile and Joseph Erap Estrada. They were senators during that time, and they decided to end up or not renew anymore the military basis agreement. Remember this, 99 years, supposedly or historically, was the agreement signed, first signed between Philippines and US. It was reduced by Ferdinand Marcos, believing that he can make a better deal after 25 years. But what happened is that Marcos was removed from the position, and here comes Cory Aquino, and these senators, most of them are trying to portray to Philippine people that they are nationalists. And when the renewal for the abrogation of military when the renewal for the US military bases was about to happen, these 12 senators called themselves Magnificent 12, decided not to renew the US military bases by voting against it. That's why we are in that situation. We gave China the strength to occupy some of the portions of our territories because there is no more presence of the US military bases. Now, are we are we going to worry about our relations with US? Because as I've heard from the Filipino people, they say that, oh, we should not expect anything from US because look what happened to Ukraine. They did not help Ukraine, and they don't want to help to do something unless they get something. And in that situation, US wanted to get some earth minerals from Ukraine. But always remember this: US was helping a lot of countries, and if you look at their standing economically, they have a 37 trillion debt. And why they are giving a lot of money for those countries while they themselves has a problem with the so-called international debt. I think Donald Trump saw that, and he wanted to continue with his policy that America first. Now, they also said that Filipinos also said that, oh, they're going to abandon also Taiwan. The same thing, they would abandon Philippines. Remember this, with all the aids given to other countries that were taken back by the Trump administration, they keep the aid, the aid for Philippines, and they also keep the aid for Taiwan. Why? Because Taiwan and Philippines are two countries that are very important to US. Ukraine is not important to US, but Philippines and Taiwan are two countries that are very important to US. Why? Because Philippines is a strategic territory where US need very much needed during in times of war with China. And Taiwan is already like a loyal ally of United States of America, and they have the military bases in Taiwan. If we kept the military bases in the Philippines, for sure, United States will definitely uh, protect us from China. Now, another difference is that Philippines and US had the so-called Mutual Defense Treaty that was signed in 1951. And the Mutual Defense Treaty stated very well that US is going to help and defend Philippines in case of war. In the same manner that when US is at war, Philippines also can give a military help in whatever form it is to US. Unlike Ukraine, there's no agreement between them. And as United States keeps saying under Donald Trump, same thing with Canada. They were giving 2 billion to Canada without getting anything. And they gave under the Biden administration a total of 350 billion to Ukraine without getting anything. It's only right for the United States of America under Donald Trump to ask for something that they can recoup with the expenses giving that they gave to Ukraine. So If I'll go back to my question, should the Philippines be worrying about its relationship with United States of America in the light of what happened with the meeting between the two presidents, Trump and Zelensky? Of course not, because we are important to US. How about Taiwan? Of course not. They're not giving up Taiwan because Taiwan is very important to US. The moment China get back Taiwan, it added strength to China because Taiwan was already fully developed militarily speaking. Although Philippines is not that strong as a military, our territory is strategic, which is very important to US during the war, like for example, refueling and everything. But they said that okay, we should stop being dependent on US. Can we really do that? It will take 100 years to become military strong. And not only that, we will not be able to, what do you call that? We will not be able to be part of the arms race because as we are joining the arms race, they are also developing their own arms. So we will be behind like for 100 years already. So the only thing that we can do in order for us to be safe is to be in relationship with US. Now they say that okay, but the problem is they're going to bomb us when the war erupts. But do you think they're not going to do that without the presence of US? Under the Duterte administration, US was actually set aside by the Duterte administration. Did China protect us? No. China actually during those 6 years were trying to get everything from us, including the jobs. They were taking all the jobs from the Filipino people during the Duterte time. They employed the Chinese people and do the work of the Filipino people. And not only that, the contracts were all from China. Aside from the fact that Duterte was already having a good relationship with China, China continued to take our territories little by little. And please remember this, after the abrogation of US military bases in 1991, China started to do the creeping invasion by occupying the Mischief Reef under the presidency of Fidel Ramos. And they are now getting a lot of territories which is within the 12-mile exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. But if we say why US is not doing anything for all of those things, because the Mutual Defense Treaty stated that they need to make an invasion first. There must be a war. How can that be a war? It is only can you can consider it as a war only if there was a declaration of war, at least on our part. But since there was no war, the US cannot do anything about it because that's not stated in the Mutual Defense Treaty. Now, are we going to stay with US? Of course, yes. In fact, we received like around 350 million military aid this year. Where are we going to get the 350 million? All our government officials, almost all of our government officials, especially those in the higher positions, were all corrupt. So where we go, we are going, we're not going anywhere. And there's no other way because if we lose our relationship with US, China will definitely take over and we will be in a worse situation the way it was worse than what we are uh, presently under that situation. Now, uh, with regard to Ukraine and US, I believe that they're going to set up or settle things in the coming days, because maybe because they were just like carried away by their emotions. As a result of that, they made exchanges, and they call it shouting match, no, in White House. I believe that U.S. can still give some leeway to Ukraine in order to make it, just to make it feel that Ukraine is being supported by US. And for those European countries, they're supposed to help Ukraine, because it endangers their position if they just give the limited amount of support to Ukraine. They were the ones affected by this war, not US. US is very far from Europe, from Ukraine. But once Ukraine was invaded by Russia, following the other Crimean countries, which was formerly part of the USSR, then European nations will be in danger, uh, because this will lead to a more stronger, a more effective and stronger Russia. That, and if that happens, Russia is another threat aside from China against US. And of course, China will definitely get some of the territories in the Philippines, because that's what they wanted to do. So hanggang dito na lamang po muli, at ito po ang lingkod. At sana po ay patuloy kayong mag-subscribe at makinig at manood dito po lamang sa Political Calisthenics. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po kayo.